Ukraine struck a Russian warehouse storing ammunition and reconnaissance drones using a domestically made Neptune missile overnight on January 10, a source in the security service of Ukraine told the Kyiv Independent. According to the source, the attack near the village of Chaltyr in Russia's Rostov Oblast was carried out by the SBU and Ukraine's Navy. At first, Ukrainian drones reportedly overloaded Russian air defenses, with a Neptune missile hitting the site shortly after, the source said. Videos published on social media show the moment of an explosion in Rostov Oblast and a tall column of smoke rising over the settlement. The extent of the damage was not disclosed. Earlier on January 10, local authorities and Russian independent media reported that Ukrainian drones had attacked several Russian oblasts overnight, causing severe fires in Leningrad and Rostov oblasts. Neptune is Ukraine's ground-launched, domestically produced anti-ship rocket with a maximum range of 300 kilometers. Ukrainian forces reportedly used Neptune missiles to destroy a Russian S-400 Triumph air defense system on September 14 and sink Russia's Black Sea flagship Moskva in April 2022. The attack is one of several recent strikes in Rostov Oblast. On December 25, Ukrainian long-range drones targeted an ammunition depot at the Kadamovsky military training ground, a source in the SBU told the Kyiv Independent. A day later, Ukraine's Center for Strategic Communications, Stratcom, reported that the armed forces struck a plant in Rostov Oblast that produces solid propellant for ballistic missiles. Ukrainian forces struck a Russian army command post in Svitlodarsk in Russian-occupied Donetsk Oblast, the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported on January 10. In a post on Facebook, the military said the successful hit targeted Russia's 3rd Army Corps. Svitlodarsk is located around 30 kilometers southeast of Bakhmut and was occupied by Russian forces in May 2022. The General Staff did not specify what weapon was used in the attack or the extent of the damage inflicted, but said all necessary measures were taken to limit the risk to civilians. Ukraine fields homemade missiles and long-range drones as well as Western-supplied arms like HIMARS, ATACMS, or Storm Shadow missiles. This week in the Donetsk region, the Armed Forces of Ukraine has conducted a series of strikes on facilities seized by Russian invaders, the General Staff added. This is the second such reported strike this week, on January 8. The General Staff said Ukrainian forces carried out a precision strike against a command post of Russia's 8th Combined Arms Army in Russian-occupied Kharkiv in Donetsk Oblast. Similar attacks were also reported in recent days, including a precision strike against a Russian command post in Kursk Oblast on January 7 and another one in the same region on January 2. Earlier on January 8, the Ukrainian military announced a successful long-range attack against a Russian oil depot in Saratov Oblast that provided fuel to the nearby Engels 2 air base. Just thought you might like to know that the fire at Engels oil depot still continues, 2 days after it was reportedly attacked by drones. The depot stored fuel for the Russian military airfield nearby. Ukrainian troops are holding defensive lines at the Kurakhove thermal power plant despite fierce fighting in the sector. Kortitsia Group of Forces, spokesperson Viktor Trahubov, said on national television. Now the Russians are trying to attack in the area of Dakhny and drive Ukrainian forces out of Kurakhove. Ukrainian forces are holding the thermal power plant and inflicting all the damage they can on the enemy, Trahubov said. Kurakhove has become one of the focal points of the Russian offensive in Donetsk Oblast over the past few months, turning the town into one of the hottest sectors of the front. Russia's defense ministry claimed that its forces had fully captured Kurakhove in a statement not confirmed at the time by Ukraine. A military spokesperson said Ukrainian forces continue to hold positions in the western outskirts of Kurakhove and the power plant, but the situation in the town is difficult. The town lies over 20 kilometers, over 10 miles, north of Russian-occupied Vuhledar, and over 30 kilometers, almost 20 miles, south of the key frontline town of Pokrovsk. Ukrainian troops are destroying large amounts of Russian military equipment in the Kurakhove sector, Trahubov added. Ukrainian armed forces repelled 29 Russian attacks in the Kurakhove sector near Sribne, Andriivka, Petropavlivka, Kurakhove, and Dakhny. Over the past day, the General Staff reported earlier in the day. Following the capture of Mariinka in early 2024, the Russian army intensified its advance toward Kurakhove. Street fighting is currently taking place in the town. Russian forces had earlier blown up the dam of the Kurakhove Reservoir, a hydraulic structure near the village of Stary Turny in the Kurakhove community. The thermal power plant in Kurakhove, for which the damaged reservoir was created, is not operating. The industrial facility has now become a fortification and the scene of intense urban fighting in Kurakhove. If taken, Kurakhove would be the first significant town to fall into Russian hands in 2025 after Russia took Avdiivka and Vuhledar last year. Moscow's troops are also focusing their efforts on Pokrovsk, an important logistics hub, as part of their overall goal to capture the entire Donetsk Oblast. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has blocked a proposal for an additional military aid package for Ukraine worth €3 billion, $3.09 billion, Spiegel reported, citing its undisclosed sources. Under Scholz's leadership, Germany has become Ukraine's second-largest military donor after the US. The Chancellor has nevertheless often been criticized for his cautious approach on some key issues, such as his refusal to provide Taurus long-range cruise missiles to Ukraine. The new assistance plan, proposed by German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock and German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, was for additional weapons including 3 additional Iris-T air defense batteries, 10 howitzers, and more artillery ammunition, according to Spiegel. But Scholz claimed the existing allocation of €4 billion, $4.1 billion, for 2025, as well as funds from the $50 billion G7 loan financed by frozen Russian assets, should be sufficient, Spiegel reported. Scholz also expressed concern that the new government could take on significant financial obligations after early federal elections in February if the package was allowed to go ahead. Baerbock and Pistorius justified the need for the package by arguing that the combat situation in Ukraine was worsening and that there was uncertainty about further U.S. support under Donald Trump's leadership. Pistorius and Baerbock hoped to gain parliamentary support for their proposal before the federal elections and presented their proposal as a vital signal of Germany's unwavering support. Despite Scholz's lack of support, Pistorius reiterated Germany's support during a meeting of the Ukraine Defense Contact Group, also known as Ramstein, according to Spiegel. Pistorius announced the provision of nearly 50 guided missiles for the Iris-T air defense system. The missiles, originally designed for the Bundeswehr, were redirected directly from production to Ukraine.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.